This is a city that oil built, Oklahoma City, a place where the oil industry trumpets its influence across the urban landscape. Because oil's a pillar of the economy, it's traditionally enjoyed a huge amount of public support, but now that's being undermined by an unexpected phenomena: earthquakes. Oklahoma is experiencing more seismic activity than California, and some people are blaming oil and gas. This state is part of the shale revolution, which has been unleashed by the hydraulic fracturing of energy-bearing rocks deep underground. And just as the fracking has multiplied, so have the earthquakes. Mark Krisman is one worried resident, and he monitors the quakes on a seismometer in a shed that he calls the war room.
Right here you got a train, just to show you how sensitive this thing is. That's a train, it's 2 miles away. That's a small earthquake, and there's another small earthquake and another small earthquake. They're probably 1.5s or so, maybe close to 2s.
The more earthquakes strike, the more cracks he sees appearing in his home.
We've probably had 40 or 50 of them in the last 2 years, real close to the house, within 2.5 or 3 miles, or close, or less. Some of them right under the house. So the state of Oklahoma and the industry itself, they don't care. It's just it's a big lie. The whole thing. All the elected officials have abdicated their responsibilities. You can see that by going back and looking at the record. They don't want to accept it. The people are suffering like crazy, and they don't want to do anything about it. The damage now is in the billions of dollars, and the question is how are you going to stop it, and who's going to pay for it?
The science is not 100% clear, but a lot of studies have shown that there is a connection between earthquakes and shale oil development. However, the problem is not the fracking itself, it's something else. It's the fact that just as fracking releases the oil locked inside ancient rocks, it also releases huge amounts of ancient seawater locked up in the same place. That water has to be put somewhere, and the current solution is to inject it back underground. This is done at disposal wells, and all that water seems to be lubricating the fault lines and triggering the earthquakes. In the state capital, most lawmakers are wary of challenging the industry on this issue, given its importance to the economy and their own political funding. But a handful are calling for tougher regulation.
It's imperative for those of us who are big fans of the energy, who understand its importance to Oklahoma, gain the upper hand in emphasizing that best practices should be followed. Because if irresponsible players gain the upper hand in the industry, if they inject near fault lines or drill into the basement and create a major seismic event, it will create a cloud which will hang over the industry for many years, for the rest of our lifetimes.
Fortunately, no lives have been lost as a result of the quakes, but there have been injuries, and the anxiety they've sparked is a grave threat to the oil industry. So far, its response has been to say it's really not clear what's actually going on underground.
But it's very complex because we have areas where we have disposal wells and seismicity. We have areas where there are disposal wells and no seismicity, and there are areas that has seismicity and no disposal wells. So while it is easy to say there must be a connection, we really don't know what the connection is.
And if regulators decided to restrict or ban the use of wastewater injection wells, what effect would that have on the industry?
If they were to ban the injection of wastewater, it would be devastating. We produce 10 barrels of wastewater for every barrel of oil that we produce. So a ban on wastewater injection would bring the industry to a halt, not in a matter of months or weeks or even days, but in a matter of hours.
So you can see it right behind me. This oil derrick stands facing the state capitol and is the perfect symbol of the central role that oil plays in Oklahoma state politics. The people in the building behind me are the ones who have to make the big decisions about the earthquake issue: Governor Mary Fallin and the members of the state legislature. They've got to weigh up the benefits of jobs, cheap petrol, and look at their own oil-dependent budget, while also considering public safety and property damage. Whatever Oklahoma does is going to be a make or break decision for some companies involved in the shale revolution, and the rest of America is going to be watching closely. This is Barney Jopson, Financial Times, in Oklahoma City.